Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. It's land.
Yeah, but isn't this the unplugged version? I don't know. I think it's the unplugged version.
All right, Paulie, let's go.
There won't be no tutti frutti, no lollipop. Come on, baby, just rock, rock, rock.
I remember when the movie came out, the MTV had their the premiere on, and they had it live on the network on MTV, right? So there, you could see the special, the MTV live special. Los Lobos performing, Marshall Crenshaw performed, and he was kind of dressed all modern, so he looked. I was like, oh man, it looks different. But then they brought on Bob Morales, and they were interviewing the real Bob, and he was he was tipsy, and they was like, how did the movie do? And he's like, they got it 101%.
Okay, well, his 90 to 95% was a few years ago, like just before he died. So, like, I'll go with that one because that was a sober Bob. But yeah, basically, from what I know, Isai captured him as best he could, like out down to his mannerisms and everything, voice, because he actually had him there to work with. Because yes, he was probably worse than what they showed him in the movie at that time, but he has really come around. I mean, he cleaned his act up. He became a family man later in life. I mean, from everything everybody said about him afterwards is, he completely turned himself around. And he was the most giving, caring, wonderful guys you could ever meet. And this guy was supposed to be a real biker gang member. That's the point. Like, I mean, he was a hard ass. I mean, the way they portray him in the movie is very glamorized in a lot of ways. La Bamba really dug down in, and I would say, like, you take that even aside from not, let's just say it's not based on a true story. It's a damn good movie. Like, just put together as a movie. Because everything is there, whether it was like, because just in that first scene, you meet Bob, you get everything you need to know about Bob. You see the situation that Connie's in. You see the life that Ritchie's family was brought up in. You get so much
rags to Rich's story, which you can make up the. He doesn't have to be Ritchie Valens. He's just.
That's what I'm saying.
He dies tragically. Yeah.
You just in the story structure alone, the story does. And somebody said it earlier in the chat that La Bamba does not waste any moment. And no, that's the thing is, it is a tight, very well put together film without it even being a true story. And that's where I compare it to the Godfather, because it's a snapshot of a period in the history, in this case, not an Italian family, but a Latino, American Mexican family, actually, I should say. And just the way that Ritchie, like I said, signified, what could be if, you had the ambition and the goal to go beyond, what you could see is what your place in life is, basically, which is what Bob is, what Bob signifies. He doesn't have the ambition to go above and beyond his state.
He's got the talent, right?
They gave him talent.
Yeah. La Bamba didn't get any nominations.
I don't think so, but it should have. Isai should have, for sure. I can't believe that Bob didn't get nominated, that Isai didn't get nominated for playing Bob. That's crazy.
Very strange. Maybe it was seen as too commercial, wasn't, because drama back then was still like the Oscars was still very, like drama.
No, which is sad though, because if you did this movie now, I bet you it would get all the awards.
So, well, up until then, what was your world, your interaction, if anything, with Chicanos, with any Latinos that are American before La Bamba, or Cheech?
Really,
yeah.
It was all on television or through movies until I was an adult, for the most part, because where I lived was so rural that there really wasn't anybody that I can think of offhand growing up until I got older, outside of Taco Bell.
Oh my God, Tom and Taco Bell.
No, I know. Yeah. Well, that was probably where I met my first Texican. It was Taco Bell, working at Taco Bell.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. This buddy of mine, his name was Joe. He was a rapper. And it was funny because you look at him and he looked like this little Mexican guy. and he'd talk and he sound like this big 6-foot Texas guy. Like
Yeah. What's up, ass?
I say, the first time I met him, I said, "Hi, I'm Tom." He's like, "Hi, I'm Joe. How you doing?" And I just looked at him and I'm like, he's like, "I know my voice can be a little," and then he does rap and he sounds like a black guy. So go figure. Like, obviously I knew Taco Bell wasn't real Mexican food. And shit like that. Eventually I learned, you know.
See, I dressed up, Paulie. I didn't have a hat, so I put on my helmet.
Oh,
Get it? Mexican.
I love it.
Iron
Man.
Mexican?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Tom, I am here as an envoy of the brown people to say that Tom is tonight is an honorary Latino. You amazed me tonight and inspired me. I'm like, holy shit, Tom knows more about my people than I do. But I just want to thank both of you for this rich content and bringing an old movie that meant so much in my life and a lot of people's lives, bringing it back to life. You guys were amazing what you did tonight. It's almost like it just came out. You made me feel like it just came out again.
Well, nobody ever talks about it. It's a movie that I remember when I was a kid. It was a big movie. I mean, I always kind of considered it right up in the ranks of things like Karate Kid and stuff like that. It was one of those movies that was always on cable and TV. And, you know, like I said, I had the VHS. I wore my cassette soundtrack out.
Tom, you know, I didn't know who I was as far as being Latino with the brown skin until it was pointed out as a you know, young teenage guy who wanted to be the next Luke Skywalker. Like, oh, you can't do that. You can do Zoot Suit, but you can't do that.
Right.
Like, all right. Well, that's kind of jacked up, but all right, you know.
Yeah.
And then I saw La Bamba, and I was like, oh man, that's fucking bad.
Well, not only that, La Bamba is a very positive story. Besides, and I don't think it really perpetuates any real stereotypes. Yeah. And that's why I asked you that earlier. Is I feel like I think it did a very good job portraying many sides of the Mexican culture, Mexican American culture, I should say. Even, you know, some of the bad parts with Bob, but some of the best parts with Ritchie and his mom. Because Bob is a redemptive character. He does get redemption at the end, and in real life too. I mean, he, you know, by the end of the movie, we see, even though it's done, and this is what I talk about, how great the movie is and how it doesn't waste any time, is we see the arc of his character by the end of the film. You know, we see that scene with him on the phone with Ritchie, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna meet you in Chicago." You can tell he's been sober. He's there being a father to his daughter. He may not have patched things up with Rosie yet necessarily, but you know, we see that he's made a change in his life.
These are great stories, man.
Yeah. Well, and then it's comparative to The Godfather in that way too, because Godfather is very much an American story in a lot of ways. And, you know, and that's the thing that a lot of people forget is that America is more than just white people. It's
what's the first line in The Godfather?
Yeah, exactly. I believe in America.
I believe in America. Exactly. And Mata says, thanks. It's amazing subscribing. Had a great night. Thanks for showing love to an epic, amazing movie. Doesn't get appreciation as it should. Luis Valdez is a legend. Wow.
If we could get Luis too for that reunion, that'd be awesome.
I mean, Luis, I mean, we talk for hours with. I mean, the work he's done.
Right.
That was my question. What did you think of Geoffrey, man? Geoffrey Rivas.
About that is he kind of hinted, he's like, I might have somebody from the movie. So here I'm thinking, you know, knowing Paulie, because he knows people that act and stuff. I'm like, okay, it's probably like somebody who played like one of the kids or something, because she's like, she or he is like an actor still, or something or whatever. So Paulie just happens to know him. No, he pulls out a Geoffrey fucking, you know,
he was just on TV the other day.
Like, no, yeah, and you look at this guy's fucking filmography, like I said, and yeah, I mean, I knew exactly who he was when he said it, and I was like, whoa.
The first day I got on the set, there was a lot of egos, a lot of tension was going on. You know, Taylor Hackford, who's amazing. You know, I've got to work with him multiple times since La Bamba, and it's always a blessing to work with him. Very strong force. Luis Valdez, very strong force. The cinematographer was Adam Green, who had just come off Terminator, and strong opinion. You know, this is Luis Valdez's first film directing, so a lot of people were like, you know, hands-on. He had his camp, Taylor had his camp, and there was just, you know, people knew that this had the potential of something really big and didn't want this to, you know, go astray. Or so there was just this like, who's controlling what, and and I could feel that, and to me that said that, wow, this is something big, that if that people care that much about it, that they're really trying their best to make sure nothing goes wrong with it. Yeah, like I said, I think there's just a lot of elements of this film that just have stayed strong to this day, that people who see it now, or have seen it from the very first time that it premiered to now, keep seeing new things or noticing different things. And it's just like it's just great to hear the feedback from people all the time about this film, and it being my first film, I feel again very blessed and fortunate to have been part of that project.
Was Born in East LA after?
Yes, it was the next film after that. Yeah.
Wow.